Welcome to the latest edition of Kernels from the Cornfield. No husk, no hulls, no shucks. News with a dash of commentary to spice up your fare for Wednesday, January 14th, 2015. Not Islamic terrorists. Violent extremists. The White House is refusing to call the Muslim radical jihadists what they are, Islamic terrorists. The terrorists are corrupting the Muslim faith to justify their murderous ways. The White House claims it is not accurate to refer to the terrorists as Islamic or Muslim, even if that is what they are. The White House asserts it is not those adhering to radical Islam, but radical extremism. The White House also asserts that since the massacre at Charlie Hebdo last week was condemned by Muslim leaders, it is inappropriate to refer to the terrorists as being Muslim or Islamic. The issue is not with the moderate followers of Islam, but the reality is those committing atrocities around the world, including last week's massacre in France, call themselves Muslim. In the US of A, we have such corruptions of Christianity who are anything but Christ-like, such as the Westboro Baptist Church, various white supremacy groups, and others. They attempt to justify their hatred, take advantage of our First Amendment to spew vindictive and blatantly evil rhetoric, while clinging to the Christian banner which they tread underfoot. What is. These terrorists are in jihad, holy war, for Islam in their perversion of the religion, no matter what the White House says. Then again, the White House deemed the terrorist rampage of murder and mayhem by Army Major Hassan Nidal as workplace violence, rather than upset or offend the sensibilities of adherents of Islam. It was the terrorist act of a Muslim who had corrupted Islam and pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda over his pledge to the US of A and the US Army. None of this is to be construed that I blame Islam any more than I blame Christianity for the Westboro Baptist Church, who are hate mongers and far from what Christ taught, and white supremacists with the Bible in one hand and treachery in the other. Charlie Hebdo stands tall. 3 million copies were printed and sold out quickly of the magazine targeted 1 week ago today by jihadists. 4 world-renowned cartoonists were killed, along with 8 others, including 2 police officers. The magazine's staff refused to go into hiding, refused to crumble in fear. An additional 2 million copies may be released within a week. Meanwhile, in the US of A, the fortress of truth, justice, and liberty, major news organizations are crumbling and cowering in fear of reprisals and fear of offending anyone. I've been advocating that whether offensive or not, since the Charlie Hebdo cartoons are integral to the news story, the cartoons should be shown. Even Carl Bernstein of Watergate fame believes that the images are the news and should not be hidden. It is not just CNN who states a policy of not showing what is offensive to religious sensibilities, but also the New York Times and other major U.S. publications and broadcasters are cowering and bending to the terrorists. Not right. As to CNN's position on offensive material, it has not stopped the network in the past on showing what Christians or Jews or other religions find offensive to show the offending material? Does this policy only apply to Islam? The other reason given by CNN is safety. Again, was that not the aim of the terrorist attack on Charlie Hebdo, to have the satirical magazine and others cease operations out of fear and concern for their own safety? CNN reporter, police state, put it this way: cowardly CNN yields to terrorist. Aside, some eBay sellers are hoping to cash in by putting the new edition of Charlie Hebdo up for hundreds of dollars. Price off the shelf is $3.50. Some 300 copies are being shipped to the U.S. on Thursday. Boehner's life threatened. A bartender who was fired from a local watering hole back in Ohio, frequented by House Speaker John Boehner, is alleged to have threatened to kill Boehner. The bartender, with a history of mental issues, called Boehner the devil. This would-be assassin had hoped to poison Boehner by putting something in his drink. He was fired before he got the chance. Reportedly, the former bartender told police he was Jesus Christ and Ebola virus was the responsibility of Boehner. Republicans press agenda. The new majority in both Chamber of Congress is pressing ahead with its agenda in the face of veto threats from President Barack Obama. House Republicans, with some Democratic support, have passed legislation to delay the Volcker Rule, contained in the Dodd-Frank restrictions placed on the financial industry following the 2008 housing bubble burst. Expect challenges and changes in the Senate before it goes to the President. A revision to the Affordable Care Act's mandate of full-time to 30 hours per week would once more make 40 hours the threshold, the traditional number of hours to qualify as full-time. This bill, also passed by the House, will likely be changed in the Senate. The President has already said the change is dead on arrival. The House moved forward with funding Homeland Security, but defunding the President's executive actions on immigration late last year. The Senate will likely pass it, but will be vetoed by the President. In the Senate, Republicans with some Democrats are moving to eliminate the medical device tax, the ACA, claiming it's a job killer. Both chambers are moving legislation to authorize the construction of the Keystone Pipeline. That legislation is also seen as dead men walking when it reaches the President's desk. Compared to the past couple of years, the Congress is acting in rapid fashion to move legislation through both chambers. A big complaint of the last 6 years is that many House-passed bills never got past former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's inbox. 2016 watch. California Attorney General Kamala Harris has tossed her hat in the ring to succeed longtime California Senator Barbara Boxer, who announced she will not seek re-election in 2016. How crowded will the field get? Do Republicans stand a chance of snatching away the Senate seat? AQAP claims attack. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, based in Yemen, is claiming that the organization planned the massacre and funded the terrorist brothers who attacked satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo's offices last week. The terror group says it funded the brothers with $20,000 to carry out the attack. AQAP disavowed the taking of a kosher grocery store on Friday. However, the group did praise the attacker and called the action, in which 4 hostages were killed, a blessing. Many terrorist experts doubt that AQAP had direct command and control of the massacre. The search for 6 other suspected terrorists at large goes on. The most wanted woman in the world is thought to be in Syria. A 4th gunman has been identified by French officials and is now thought to have escaped the country. He is wanted as an accomplice in the taking of the grocery store. An Al-Qaeda recruiter was arrested in Bulgaria as he and his young son attempted to cross into Turkey. He is thought to have ties with the jihadi brothers and arranged their recruitment into AQAP. NATO ally Turkey slams Charlie Hebdo. Turkey, a NATO ally, which was reluctant to allow Kurdish fighters to cross its territory to stave off an Islamic State assault on a Syrian city on its border, is strongly condemning the publication of the latest issue of Charlie Hebdo today. The Turkish government is calling the cover, which depicts a tearful Muhammad saying all is forgiven while holding a sign reading, "I am Charlie," as being an affront and attack on both Muhammad and Islam. Turkey is the route of choice by Western radicalized youth wanting to join with the Islamic State or Al-Qaeda. Stock market slide. The U.S. stock market continues its slide after the Dow closed down over 180 points on Tuesday. At one point today, the Dow was 180 points, closing at 187 points. Being blamed for the sell-off are the much lower than expected December retail sales. What was thought to be a brisk Christmas season has turned out to be a bust. Oil per barrel dropped to $45. Prices at the pump continue to fall, with the cost of $1.83 per gallon in the Cornfield. Other factors are a prediction by the World Bank, a more sluggish global economy, and weak results reported by megabank J.P. Morgan Chase. Space station scare. The American portion of the International Space Station had to be evacuated today after electronic monitors indicated a leak in the cooling system. The American astronauts are, for the moment, sharing quarters with Russian cosmonauts until the problem can be fixed. No one was harmed. This just in. Another Ohio man has been arrested for plotting to pipe bomb the Capitol and shoot people as they ran from the congressional building. An undercover FBI agent has been working the case. The American would-be terrorist claims allegiance to the Islamic State. This story is still developing. Well, that's what caught my attention for Wednesday, January 14th, 2015. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Kernels from the Cornfield. I'm Mark Ivy. Good evening.